Hi, my name is Afifah with Ruzide and my matric number is 09DMB19F1047. Today, my presentation is all about suicide. The suicide, as we had currently heard, the cases is high, and we had popular cases among these years, these days. We had heard all about the cases about suicide. So let's talk about suicide. This is the table of content in my presentation. First, I will tell about introduction. Second, I will tell an example of article that I have and the strategies to prevent suicide. The table of data in our suicide cases in Malaysia and the statistic graph that show the analyzed data. Next. What is suicide? Do you know that suicide is a death caused by injury oneself with the intent to death? A suicide attempt is when someone harms themselves with any intent to end their life, but they do not die as a result of their action. Many factors can be increase the risk for suicide or protect against it. Suicide is connected to other forms of injury and violence. For example, people who have experienced violence, including child abuse, bullying, sexual harassment, have higher suicide risk. That is because they had a depression of their mind and they had overthinking of themselves. Next, this is the article of suicide. In May 2019, a younger 16 years old Malaysian girl asked her followers on Instagram to help her choose whether to live or die. When the majority of the respondents on Instagram choose D, which is die, she ended her life several hours later. For a moment, Malaysians railed together in outrages at a tragic event. Policymakers demand a holistic public health approach about various ministries to improve youth mental health. However, the outcry soon died down and little has been done once. The World Health Organization (WHO) estimates that the suicide is leading cause by death globally among 15 to 30 years old. In Malaysia, the Finders, the National Crisis Hotline, estimate that 41%, which is 36% callers and 45% email of the Malaysia for view youth suicide as social, economic and public health issue that required a long-term and comprehensive energy. The movement control order. The movement control order also associated to the COVID-19 epidemic led it in a rise in mental health difficulties among Malaysians in 2020. According to a survey conducted by Centre during MCO period, 48% and 45% of respondents respectively experienced significant level of anxiety and sadness. In the country, has been a considerability grown in the usage of emotional support hotline service between January and July of 2020. This shown that the more people these days had anxiety and depression on their mind with overthinking with the problem of MCO and COVID-19. They had no choice to do, so they choose to do suicide. This is the strategies to prevent suicide. First, strengthen access to suicide care. Second, follow up treatment. Third, encourage positive lifestyle. Fourth, remove potential means of suicide. Fifth, learn problem solving skills. These are all the solving strategies that we can use in solving our problems, which is we can find the other people to hear about our problems and to do something positive to make ourselves forget about the problem. These are the table data of suicide rate in 2021. The previous study shown that the male who are more likely to die from suicide, while females were more likely to commit suicide attempt. During the adolescent stage, males and females develop differently with different skills and different times. It is the statistic on suicide rate in 2012 to 2019. This is the suicide rate per 100k people among 332 million population in Malaysia. During the period, 8.9 per 100k people is the male rate, while 2.3 per 100k people female rate among this year, which is the male rate of suicide is the highest value in Malaysia during those years. 8.9 per 100k people is the percent of male rate, while 2.3 per 100k people was the percent for female rate. That shown the male rate is more high of the cases. That is because male is the main family members that have to think all about the problems in the family. That's why male is more easy to commit suicide. This is double data of suicide behavior in 2012 and 2017. For every death by suicide, there are 10 to 20 more suicide attempts. A nationally representative study of suicidal behavior in Malaysia found that younger individuals are at the high risk of any suicide behavior. There is three data in this table. First, suicide ideation, second, suicide plan, and third, suicide. This is the statistic on the suicide behavior in 2012 and 2017. The 12-month statistic of suicide behavior among the ages 13 to 70 years old also increased between 2012 and 2017. In 2017, suicide attempts are highest among Malaysians of Indian ethnicity, followed by ethnic Chinese and Bumiputra Sarawak, and ethnic Malays. The 12-month prevalence of suicide attempt was highest in Perak, which is 9.3%, while the prevalence of suicide ideation and plan was highest in Wilayah Persekutuan Kuala Lumpur, which is 13.2%, and Selangor 9.5% respectively. As you can see, the red bar is a statistic on 2017, while the blue bar is the statistic for suicide attempts in 2012. You can see that suicide ideation in 2012 significantly lower than 2017, and you also will see on the graph that the suicide attempt in Malaysia is slightly low to the suicide plan in Malaysia, so that the people in Malaysia are more thinking and have ideation on suicide attempting, but they had low encouragement, but fortunately they had no low risk about doing a suicide attempt because they think about themselves and they love themselves. No. Conclusion is, from my point of view, suicide is a leading cause of death among youth in Malaysia and is a serious public health issue that must be solved immediately. Suicide remains a criminal act in Malaysia, despite evidence that criminalization of suicide reduces help seeking, hinders collection and accurate data, and the development and the implementation of effective suicide prevention strategies. Hopefully, this presentation can give you a little awareness and a clear view to you all about the danger of suicide. Love yourself and remember that you are not alone. I love you. Thank you.